Hey, what's up, everybody? Craft Tea, episode 7.
It's nice to be almost diagonal from you, not right across from you. I'm super close over a... How many inches do you think this is?
I feel like it's easier for us to... It's a little... I don't know. The other one wasn't bad, but it's a little more natural this way, I think. Easier to, like, swivel a bit than being at opposite ends of the same table.
We have another set!
New set!
New set dance.
Jokingly, we were talking about... not me and you, it was Sean when he walked in to drop coffee off. You guys missed the coffee break already. That was like an hour ago.
Well, it's because we're usually, I was going to say, we usually shoot earlier.
But it was because we were finishing setting this up and we were getting some more information about possibly next week's episode. But yeah, I mean, new set. The joke was that we keep changing rooms. Like, the rooms get changed so often in this place that I feel like if you're not questioning how many rooms we have here... because it's like, it's not even like, oh yeah, they just went back and forth between this room and that room. Like, no, we got rooms.
This is the third room we've been in for this one thing.
I could move us to literally 5 other rooms still. This place is a wild maze. I'd have to clean them rooms out, but you still have,
I was counting the ones that you could just go in.
Oh yeah,
because there are some of those.
Yeah, there are even those. Yep. But yeah, new colors, new everything. Obviously not finished yet. My side's a lot more finished because I'm the one that was doing the setting up. So I wasn't just going to go and hang stuff on Sarah's behalf. The only reason Big D's over there was because it was actually hanging on another wall in this room from a different set we shot. And I just didn't want her wall. I didn't want her wall utterly blank.
Lou, you're here with Luann Schreimer.
Oh, Luann made that one?
She made it. I want to say she did it for the Expo Contest last year, and then she let us keep it.
That I knew what it was from. So the stuff that's behind me, or us, I made the little Penny D guy with tacky tape, but the Big D, I know we've been talking about the Expo coming up in August and everything, but we do a contest. I think we're going to do it again, right?
We should.
I don't see why not. We just gave everyone the opportunity to just enter a craft that you made and just let people vote on it and win it.
Or anything. It just had to be a craft.
Yeah, it was like a table. It didn't have to be a tumbler, nothing. We had all kinds of stuff. And that was the idea was I wanted some of our vendors, because we have vendors. No, I keep mentioning like people that make saxophones and the lamps and stuff, but that's just what sticks out the most in my mind. But there was everything from people that made... wands, like Alex got a wand from someone.
Robin Kit made them. I didn't even know she made wands. They were so pretty.
There was so many different vendors, and I wanted them to be able to not just be trying to sell their stuff, but also feature your stuff. You know, enter it in the contest. It's still art. It's still a craft, and like you can win it was a big gift card. I think it was like $500 we did. I think. Yeah. Actually, it's like a big prize because I want the community.
Did the table win?
To just have fun. Yeah, the dude, a guy that. I think
that was the most exciting.
It was so random. A guy like made an epoxy table, and it's not a traditional person that we would have thought coming, especially to our first expo. You know, we would have thought probably it would have been nothing but tumblers on that table, and it would be a tumbler that got chosen. Nope, got a whole slew of options and crafts, and an epoxy piece of furniture is what won, and I love it.
Someone did make a glitter guy shaker tumbler. Which they
that was like the first one.
Then they gifted it to me. And I still use it today.
Yeah.
I'm not using it today, but I use it. I really like it.
Yeah, we were actually trying to figure out, Chris and I were talking, we were setting up. We feel the need that like a centerpiece should be here. That's why I sat this here. I was like, well,
is this your centerpiece?
Yeah, this is my centerpiece.
Who knew?
We thought
I just thought they left it there.
Maybe swapping a centerpiece out for a topic, that has to do roughly with the topic. And today, we didn't get into it yet, but it's all over the news. And by the time we air this, it will be way further in the news. I'm sure that, honestly, not sure, but maybe even the whole freaking banking system will be collapsed by the time this airs with the way it's going. But the SVB thing,
love some bank drama.
It's important. Even in the craft world, we have reasons why to talk about it too. So that's what we'll be getting into. But Chris's idea was to have a little piggy bank here. And I was like, I'm sure we have one. And I am sure, but I can't find one. So this is my piggy bank.
We do have piggy banks, but they don't look like a pig.
I thought you might have
remember Alex's piggy bank? It's right in front of her playpen.
Sweet potatoes, we do. We have a baby toy right
Go get it, quick. You know which one it is, right?
I have no idea where I'm going.
In front of her big gray playpen is that little
in the
table,
office
and there
where she
used to be a
doodles
pig on it.
right in front of my desk.
Okay.
It's like a pink piggy bank pig. We'll talk until Case gets back. Yeah, so the SVB thing, man, it is something. I pulled up a lot of stuff
The memes are great.
off of my phone so that I can just pull, I don't know, a lot of information for it, because I think it's important that we talk in order for the topic to make the most sense. I feel like we have to talk about actually like what's happening too. I can't just take for granted that anyone that decides to listen to this knows what's going on.
No, because you didn't even know what was going on
had
until I
no
called
clue.
you Monday morning when I found out the part that we actually want to talk about. And I call you and you're like, what? What's wrong? I'm like, nothing. Are you okay? You're like, yeah, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, all right. Now we got that out of the way. Can I tell you what I called you for?
Yep. That's
Because you were just going to get on the highway and you didn't know if you should turn around or keep going.
Monday, Sarah stayed home.
Ugh,
and
hate staying home.
I went to the office, and when I'm on my way, like neither of us, I just left. Usually, unless it's emergency, there's no reason to call right away. So when Sarah called me right away, I was like, the baby just exploded. Like that's where my brain goes. I can't help it.
Exploded.
Yeah, worst case scenario always. So I'm like, oh my God.
Shame, that was unsuccessful.
Oh, we'll have to put it in.
Play?
Yeah, she must have took the pig somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm like crazy. I'm like,
You'll have to keep that part in though.
yeah, for sure.
she calls me, and I'm like in a bit of a panic, and I'm like, all right, what is it? What's going on? And you're like, first off, calm down. Everything's fine. And I'm like, okay. I just wasn't ready. So, and then she starts telling me, she's like, I just really got to talk about this story right now. Like, I feel like it's very interesting. And she's telling me about the SVB bank thing. And dude, I full transparency here, I do not pay attention to like world news anywhere near as much as I should. And honestly, even I say world news, but US news, I just don't. There's so much that I already have to pay attention to. It's sometimes too much. But Sarah's a news junkie. And honestly, she is my news source. If it's important enough, she'll tell me about it. This was that thing. So here we are, SVB, you're telling me about it. And you're just like going through the motions of it as a story, nothing to do with crafting, nothing to do with our world.
No, because you needed to know what you were trying to tell everyone else to understand why what I was about to tell you was so important. So I was just like, what information?
So, yeah, she hits me with the info and then tells me everything. So I feel like this is where it's kind of important that I explain to you briefly what kind of happened here last week with SVB. So I'm hitting you with some info from Business Insider. That's where Sarah sourced a lot of the info in the first place. So
they always got the best articles.
Yeah, and it's a little wordy, but it doesn't get too bad. I'm a pretty fast reader, so I'm going to burn through it. All right. Only last month, Silicon Valley Bank ranked amongst the top 20 in Forbes' list of best U.S. banks in 2023. By Friday afternoon, the once trusted bank of venture capital investors and tech startups was closed down by regulators in what has now become the second largest bank failure in the U.S. Any deeper, long-standing reasons behind SVB's sudden collapse will no doubt unfold in the coming days. That's why I want to start talking about this, because it's going to get crazy, I'm telling you. On Thursday, more startup founders moved to make withdrawals, apparently rattled by SVB's falling stock and the losses that the bank took on the sale of $21 billion in bond investments. So that's like a related story to why this all happened, which I have that as well, too. If we decide to go down that road. The bank had already been experiencing...
Pig delivery!
Boom. Let me get that.
Found it. Wait.
Thank
Where
you.
was it?
I thought
I told
she
you
might
they
have moved
took it.
Okay.
Centerpiece.
I rated you guys in a piggy bank. Freddie.
Yeah, so the bank had already been experiencing headwinds from a continued higher interest rates, pressured public and private markets, and elevated cash burn. Greg Becker, the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank, wrote to investors on Wednesday. While some tech founders had at first advised against anxious moves, they couldn't turn a tide that exploded into an all-out crash. The stock of the bank, which said it served about half of U.S. startups, this is where like it's important to our world, that venture capital firms invested in, had dropped about 86% by Friday.
They said
That's
that
insane.
on Thursday, people were withdrawing money at a rate of $500,000 a minute for a full 24 hours. That's how much money came from that bank in 24 hours. It was full-blown pandemonium.
So as part of the closure, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the agency that helps insure customers' bank funds, has now taken
FDIC.
control of SVB. The agency is prioritizing returning insured deposits within days and devising ways to offer recoveries for customers with uninsured deposits, it said in a statement on Friday.
So to clear that up and explain that to you guys, the FDIC insures your bank accounts. They'll insure any bank up to $250,000 per customer. And that is across the board, that's just been the rule. So to put things into perspective for you, Bank of America, for example, has 32% of their accounts unsecured. That means 32% of their customers have more money than that in their bank account. So if something happened to them, those people would be asked out. SVB had 90% of their accounts unsecured or uninsured. It was actually 87 point something percent of them unsecured or uninsured, whatever word they use.
Right. And that's
It's a
because
huge difference.
they are generally a startup bank. So the volume of money required in these accounts is exponential. Like it's essentially an investor bank. So $250,000 is play money to the people that bank here. They literally wipe their asses with that type of money. So when they
Correct.
heard that their money ain't coming back, it was pull it out as fast as possible at 86% of the value gone. Ooh, this is not good. I got 5% and all the stories are on my phone.
You got an outlet behind you, though.
I know. SVB's now historic collapse puts it second only to the fall of Washington Mutual during the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis, according to data from the FDIC. And we also, thank you.
Yep.
How well
USB-C, right?
that went.
Oh, you don't have to plug it in.
It is a power
It's
bank.
a power bank, baby. Yes.
That is quite useful.
Appreciate you. Oh, here we are. My screen's brighter and everything. Yeah, so things were not good in 08. We've only kind of started recoup. It took forever to recoup from that. And what's most important, I think, to get to now
what I
that
found
you
out
guys
Monday
kind of
morning.
understand what happened here was how it relates to us and our field. So it's kind of been shored up, the issues that relate directly to our field, but it was still something that I think needs to be touched on. So
At the time that the article came out, everything was still up in the air because it's only
Yes.
Sunday
Yep.
evening that they decided to bail them out. So at this point, anyone knew, but when the article that Jason's going to announce came out, is that the FDIC is still holding true to $250 per customer, and everyone else is kind of screwed, and you might have to wait a little bit for that money, and payroll will not be paid out. But what no one thought about was the other companies that do other things
this was basically
besides payroll.
the news as of Friday/Sunday-ish. And things have obviously progressed since. So anyway, the headline of this one is also Business Insider. Some Etsy sellers have finally accessed money tied to Silicon Valley Bank and have reopened their shops. So this, I think, was written Wednesday, March 14th. Yeah, that was, Tuesday. So in the wake of Silicon Valley Bank's fallout, some Etsy sellers were having trouble getting their payouts from online marketplace on Monday, were unsure as to when they'd get their money. However, when reached on Tuesday, these sellers said the payments were posted to their bank accounts and they reopened their shops from vacation mode, a strategy they use to prevent receiving any orders from customers.
If you're following that means Etsy banked with SVB, and I've never even thought about that. That's not in my pay grade to wonder who Etsy banks with. That's not even a thought in my brain, but now it's going to be a thought forever. Who does this company bank with?
First learned that their deposits didn't go through on Friday when they received an email from Etsy explaining that payments were delayed because the company used Silicon Valley Bank to facilitate disbursement to some sellers. Etsy confirmed to Insider on Monday that approximately 0.5% of its active seller base had their payments delayed on Friday. In a statement, the company said, "We are working to pay these sellers today. We've already started processing payments via another payment partner this morning." On Monday, some Etsy sellers posted on Reddit said they still hadn't received payment, and others said that they had been notified that their payments may not come for days or weeks. This created confusion amongst entrepreneurs.
Crazy. And 0.5% sounds low, but they have a lot of sellers. So that I don't know what that number is, but it could be a very high number.
Insider spoke with 3 Etsy sellers on Monday who are waiting for their automatic weekly deposits to go through. In the meantime, they set their storefronts on vacation mode for receiving orders. Yada, yada.
Yeah, because you need all that to pay for the shipping labels and everything. That's where the majority of Etsy sellers get their money to pay for that stuff. And supplies, of course.
Yeah, so related article just to help expand on the facts that we're talking about here. This one's from Seeking Alpha, and this headline is Etsy and Shopify work past Silicon Valley bank disruption. So
That's right, Shopify too.
to add to that as well, where it's also related, specifically related to even the glitter guy and a lot of our peer companies and stuff, we use Shopify. And we weren't, fortunately, affected by this issue because Shopify is shored up a lot better than like Etsy was. I know Etsy said only 0.5% were affected, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that you never get the real number off the rip. You
I was thinking that.
You always get the better. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, like, from doing line work, I would get meetings with the power companies and stuff. I'll probably get yelled at if anyone ever listens to this, but like you go and they're like, hey, I know that the numbers on the website say that there's only 250,000 people out, but there's still 500,000 people out. So we got to get these numbers down. So like you're always trying to save face.
Liar, pants on fire.
You're always going to try to save face. They're not going to give you straight up. Anyway, Etsy has resumed payments to merchants with Silicon Valley banks after a short processing halt Friday, et cetera, et cetera. We just talked about that. Moving on, it says separately, Shopify had halted payments to online sellers on its platform with Silicon Valley bank account. The company told those merchants they must switch accounts to receive funds. Shopify CEO Toby Luckey noted the company was only seeing very minor impact from the SVB collapse because it uses at least 12 different banks to process payments.
That's nuts. Who keeps up?
Etsy and Shopify rose 1% in pre-market trading on Tuesday. That's an interesting side fact. But
they pulled all their advertisements over the weekend down off Google, probably couldn't pay the bill. Or were scared that they couldn't pay the bill because they didn't know what kind of money was coming back and when.
So now that we laid out all the groundwork, essentially, not all of it, but a lot of the groundwork, what I think is like most important for the topic and kind of where my brain went when you first started like telling me this. Well, first, immediately I was like, this has everything to do with us. We need to talk about this on Crafty. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like Etsy, a lot of our customers, etc., sell their products that they use our products to make on Etsy.
I
like,
couldn't dial your number fast enough.
You
find
got
you
your
and
start
swipe
on Etsy.
over.
Like Etsy is ingrained in, unfortunately, because they're not necessarily the best platform or they don't have the best history. But it's kind of ingrained in our world, in the handmade world. So unavoidable. And Shopify as well. It's more and more and more and more popular with sellers because it's just very easy to use. I mean, they don't pay me, but I should probably toot their horn just a little bit with how much I yell at them for the issues that I get tons of issues, but honestly, they get fixed and they get
they're
worked
just
through.
An expensive shell at this point because you got to put so many apps on it to even make it work, which
Yep.
I get in the grand scheme of things, but also like maybe lower the price a little bit.
But the reason why I was like, dude, we got to start talking about this is, I mean, my brain goes everywhere anyway. I just start seeing the path and the breadcrumbs and the trails, and I'm sure a lot of people are like that and seeing that too. But the country's already in a very, I didn't want this to be a political podcast, but today it just kind of almost has to be. But the country's just in a very tense state, right? Like been for the past few years. The pandemic didn't help that shit. And everybody's tense. And they're almost looking for a reason to get gaslit. Like,
yeah.
Everyone's got a lot of rage inside, and you don't want to like necessarily like aim it haphazardly, so that you just find like this topic.
They're looking for an outlet
this pop
for their
culture
emotions.
thing, this something, a movement to get behind, and just like let that rage out. And the government is a very easy thing to hate, right? Like they don't make it hard.
No.
They especially anymore. It's just like stupid shit after stupid shit, and then now when you mess with my money, we've got problems, like not me,
No,
in general,
seriously.
you start messing with money, and that's when there's problems. That's when people start really losing their minds. And
even if they have to pay out $150 to an Etsy seller, to Etsy, that's just like pennies. That's less than pennies. But to that person, that one income person or their side hustle or that's their main job, that's everything. And they need it on time.
So like something that is important to notice that is it's positive and very negative was the government's reaction to this situation, because they were like, oh shit, this is going to get bad. You can't create more distrust in the banking systems. We already don't trust them for the most part, so you're going to create a domino effect, a collapse, right? So everything's fine, everybody's deposits are good, hit the it's all good button, and then now in the quick headlines, everyone's going to be pacified and happy. Etsy sellers' shops are back open, people are back making money. We threw the Band-Aid on. What I think we're going to really see, though, when you have all of the real fact-driven people are going to start peeling back the layers and going, where'd that money come from that they just fixed all this with? We only were supposed to mint so much this year. Are we just printing money? Is this made up money? How much is it worth now? Is it backed by anything? And then that's where collapse starts to begin.
Yeah. The money came from the fees that the banks have to pay into the FDIC account, whatever the account's called that pays the minimum out. So they obviously paid way more. I don't know how they're going to fill that back up. I guess maybe, I don't know if they'll hire the fees on the banks, but
so
make that shit up.
Of course,
they
tax hikes.
Not.
It comes from somewhere, and
we'll see.
And they try to just wash it away in stupid shit like soda taxes and stuff that they just tell you that it's for your own health now.
The world
and really it was like because somebody hit the wrong fucking button last year.
You realize the world doesn't know about soda tax?
Of course, yeah.
It's a Philadelphia thing.
Yeah, I know.
We'll save that for another day. It sounds exactly like what it is, guys.
But like as soon as you started talking to me about this, like I said, my brain went everywhere, and I was like, oh, this ain't good. I was like, this is going to create a whole lot of collapse, and they're just going to try and do as much damage control as possible. And that's exactly what happened. Like, I'm no expert in financials, in banking systems, in anything, but I feel like I have a generally good head on my shoulder when it comes to common sense and shit. And you can just see like A plus B equals or don't equal C, and it just ain't adding up right now. Math is math, and it ain't mathin'.
No, it never does.
So now, since then, the stories this morning when we woke up, Europe banks are failing. Banks worldwide are failing because damage control can only go so far, and it wasn't just U.S. clients banking with SVB.
No, absolutely not. A lot of UK.
If you think that like all of the wealth in the world is in the U.S., that is none of it's here. Like, none of it's here. Any of the real wealth in the world is elsewhere. And all the investors, that's where the money comes from. And that's what this was, right? This was all startup campaigns, all startup tech startups.
Much tech.
You're talking about so much money and stuff. And it's like gone now. You know what I mean? Like I said, and if you start messing with people's money, then that's when there's real problems. And you're messing with real money now. Like they like lost so much money. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how the world kind of unfolds. Like I said, before we started talking about this, I know I've been almost driving the conversation, maybe too much, but
no,
I just have so much on my mind about it, because you can go down every avenue. Like, you can go into conspiracy theories, you can go into any of it. Like, it's all going to be fueled by greed. But we were talking about it I feel like crypto is going to start going way up again, because the whole point of crypto is to decentralize the banking systems and everything, and to bring all the ownership and stuff of money like really into your own pockets and stuff. And the biggest hurdle for crypto has been for the general public to really understand it. I still don't really understand it. It's a lot to understand.
And your friends mine for it, and you still don't completely understand it. And I'm like, they're mining where? Where are they mining? And Jason's like, online. I'm like no. Mining? Like, what? I'm not picturing this right, guys.
But then when you think about it more and more, it's like, when so much money fails, when something so large fails, but you see all these bailouts and all these things get fixed of other things that should have failed that didn't, is this bank failing because they wanted it to? Or is it failing because it was like should have failed. You know what I mean? Because so many
Don't get
other
me
things that were
started.
supposed to fail didn't, because somebody just keeps on pumping money into it and making it seem like it's still making money and valuable. And this time it's just not. So like, you know, so that's why I don't know.
If you guys want to go
I am
down
a
a fun
conspiracy
rabbit
driven
hole,
person, but
if you guys really like current event things, look up the SVB stuff if you're not already on the topic.
Yep.
It is Insider Business that
yeah,
I'm-
Business Insider.
I keep flipping it.
Business Insider.
Insider's a good one if you want to subscribe with them and read their articles. It's a fun little, and you guys make up your own opinion. I know I got some opinions.
Yeah, it's something that I think that everyone needs to pay attention to and watch, especially if you're a seller on Etsy and everything. Just you know, I don't know if everyone listening has over $250,000 in their Etsy accounts. You know what I mean? So you're probably got it covered, but just make sure that you are covered. These are things to pay attention to now that maybe people weren't necessarily paying attention to before.
Yeah.
They were even saying that on the news. Is like, make sure that your accounts are insured, FDIC insured, et cetera, et cetera.
In more current events, sorry, I was just looking if someone had answered me. Heather from FeatherBear is not going to sell glitter anymore. Which I kind of thought that this eventually might come to this one day with the last live that she did, if you guys don't follow her. But at first I was really sad to hear it, but now I'm really excited because she says that she's not done. She's going to do something else, and she didn't announce exactly what that is, but I'm getting antsy hoping that it is going right back to tumbler making and just being a content creator, because I think she'd be fabulous at it. I'm positive that's why she had her big following to begin with. It's just she has a really nice way of talking to people, you know, on good, we all have good days and bad days, but she's fun. I used to follow her all the time before she started selling glitter.
Used to use her
Husband's
cup maker that her husband made.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone that made any cup makers before or turners before them. Not only was he wasn't, I don't remember which came first, the chicken or the egg, but I think he had put his video up on how to make turners first.
Sure.
And then people wanted him to just make them for him, and then they started doing it on Etsy. Yeah, on Etsy. And when my cup turners failed, that's when you bought me, sorry, little microphone. That's when you bought me one of theirs. They're like super OG. So I hope that she goes back to making cups and teaching other people how to make cups, because she makes some really, really pretty cups.
Yeah, they were definitely one of the like pioneers essentially in the tumbler making space.
Yeah,
For
of
sure.
course, you know, I'm always sad to hear when someone stops doing something that they're doing for their business, but maybe she will come grace us with her presence on Craft Tea next week. Reached out to her, and then we'll see. I'm really excited to see what she does next.
Yep.
Interested. I haven't heard a lot from her. I haven't heard anyone really talking about FeatherBear Bling in a long time, so when it came up on my timeline earlier this week, I was like, oh, well, that was a little surprising, but maybe not. Seems like a lot of sellers in general are closing down lately too, not just glitter sellers. It seems to be kind of
not might. I do believe that it absolutely goes hand in hand with the topic that we were just talking about. Like, if we're focused more on what matters in investing and stuff, it's so hard to say like what matters, because like honestly, happiness and crafting and mental health and stuff matters, and I think that that's what like we bring into the world, is just like the positive mental attitude type space, which is absolutely important, or else everyone's just gonna be ornery and pissed.
which sometimes we are, but you know, you gotta take it when
Sure.
change the vibe.
But with like money and investing and stuff, like you're gonna invest in it, like we're talking about that ahead of this, is people are going to invest more in gold or in silver or in raw materials and stuff, less in iPhone and tech, and that I feel like that's where that's just going to kind of move. So I think that some businesses are not doing as much because people are investing less in extra and more in necessary.
That's a good point. I never thought about it that way. Interesting.
But just make sure what you offer is necessary.
Glitter is necessary. I'm just putting that out there right now. That is an
That's why I said it's necessary
an opinion,
to be.
and I opinionize that glitter is necessary.
It is necessary to have a positive mental attitude if you don't want to be miserable forever. So I feel
have
like
a really
I said,
good hobby.
we bring positivity to the world, color, happiness, joy.
You sounded like you were going on your own podcast of like calm things to listen to
That's
before
it.
bed or something. Let me calm you with my voice, and
Meditating with
then in
the
between
glitter
we'll
guy.
do raindrops or
And
something.
it'll just be the slow sound of glitter falling.
That is kind of what glitter sounds like when you do it in bulk. The glitter guy and his smooth jazz voice. I don't know why I threw jazz in there. It just seemed to go after the word smooth.
All right.
Now you can have your own channel on Spotify. We're on Spotify, you guys. Crafty. You did that.
Everything. I think I did mention it when it's on there, but once again, it doesn't hurt to mention it each time. If you guys are watching this on YouTube and you just feel like it's not as easy to catch these episodes on there, all of the episodes get uploaded almost simultaneously to all the major streaming platforms, Apple Tunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called, Spotify, all of it. These episodes are on there. Check us out, follow us, all that stuff. Get the listens up.
Jason gave me the dirty table, by the way, too.
Well, this is temporary. I'm making the desk for in here that's going to be permanent. This was just so that we could do today.
He temporarily gave me the dirty desk. That was
Yeah.
sweeter than permanently giving me the dirty desk.
I can, if you want, I can move into
I'm just messing with you.
Twisted Tea
Oh.
and then, riff from there, whatever you want.
I'm interested to hear what you got.
Yeah.
It was my week,
just wanna see
but
what
I
this
let you
was.
have it.
I pulled the stories on me phone for now.
I hope they're interesting.
They are actually, and they kind of span over a few topics. So, the first one, cocaine cat escaped owner will now live at Cincinnati Zoo.
Like a real cat?
Cocaine cat. It's actually a. They're just riffing off the movie title Cocaine Bear that's coming out, so they're just trying to get like SEO out of it.
Oh, we're learning all kinds of things. I didn't know about a cocaine bear.
Oh. So it says an African serval cat. It looks kind of like a, I don't know, like a little jaguar almost. No, see the picture? No, he's not really big. You see him laying on the table?
He is a jaguar. That's not a regular cat.
A serval
right?
cat. Yeah, right. It is a big cat.
When he's
an
little
African
there, but he
serval
will
cat.
get big, right?
An African serval cat that was found with cocaine in its system after an escape and a traffic stop now calls the Cincinnati Zoo home, much to the delight of social media users, still amused by the recent release of the movie Cocaine Bear. The wild cat story has trended online where users relished in the absurdity of the horror comedy which risks blah, 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 blah. I don't care about the bear.
Oh my god, it really is a cat that looks like a jaguar.
The
like
slender
it's literally
feline made
looking
its
like a
escape
cat.
after its owner was pulled over by police on January 28th, according to local animal control officials. It leapt from the car into a tree. That's funny.
I wonder if he could do that not on cocaine. Yo, you guys gotta look up this cat. Serval. Serval.
In Ohio, it is illegal to own the animals, which can weigh up to 40 pounds.
I was gonna ask if it's legal.
During the rescue, not in Ohio. During the rescue mission, the cat named Amory broke its leg and became more agitated. Once Amory was
bet.
taken in for medical care, the team ran a drug test in which they determined that Amory had cocaine in his system. It's not the first time that Cincinnati Animal Care has been operating as the county animal shelter while animal test positive for drugs.
That's really a shame, though. That is a I said.
In
I mean, that literally is a
2022, the
crime.
group took in a capuchin monkey named Neo that had meth in its system. Meth monkey.
Terrible.
Yep, cocaine cats and meth monkeys on the loose in Ohio. They do it wild out there.
I want one of these cats. They're so pretty. Guys, look it up. African serval cat. Medium-sized cat, it's listed
Servals
as.
have grown in popularity, with some showing up in TikTok videos as pets. It's, I mean, you know that some places can have big cats just because of, the lion. What the hell was that guy's name?
The lion that loves the deer?
No,
Or is that a different one?
You thinking the crocodile?
No, the lion one. The stupid lion guy. He's in jail.
The lion ate him.
Yeah, no, the lion did not eat him. What do you mean? The dude's in jail right now for his...
Oh, you're thinking Tiger King.
Thank you, Tiger.
Oh,
Jesus.
that's not who I was thinking. I was thinking of the...
I'm like, the guy was literally a sensation for like 2 years. You couldn't escape him. Help! Someone help!
They did 3 seasons of that show.
Obscene.
3 seasons of it?
Canceled. Yeah, season 2 sucked, and just on momentum, they did a season 3. Trash. 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah. Anyway, next story. That's all for Cocaine Cat. Berlin to let everyone go topless at public swimming pools. So
What was
Berlin,
that?
Berlin to let everyone go topless at public swimming pools. That's all. I thought that's funny because it's like Berlin's turning into Breathless, like the whole country. You like the boom boom with the topless? You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, from the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was telling Nikki and Jen, because they were all like, should we stay at Breathless? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm Breathless's kind of clientele. I was like, that's the boom boom topless party.
When we went to Sarah and I went to Dreams or something for like our first like Caribbean vacation a few years ago, and when we went there, they were like, hey, do you want to see like our other resorts? You know, the whole spiel where they get you to buy a frickin' vacation club, which I did.
If you guys want to sell a vacation club, just call Jason.
Stay away from me. I have problems.
I'm dead.
My vacation clubs buy vacation clubs because I'm stupid.
They're not a collector's thing.
I
You
know.
don't collect them all, Pokemon.
It's not like masks. Anyway, stupid. Remember what I said earlier, that I am
For
not
the
a
man
financial...
that doesn't want to take vacations, I'm sorry I had to cut you off there. I just needed to throw that out. It just popped into my head. This man does not like to even take vacations with me.
I am not a financial expert by any
He's not.
means. So anyway, yeah, when we went there, like, you want to do this tour thing? We're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And we're like, you guys want to go see Breathless? And we're like, I don't, whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, that's like they have the topless parties and like the boom boom. And we're like, what? Do we look like those kinds of people? I guess we kind of maybe do look like those kinds of people, but we are not. Oh,
By the way, this is who I pictured when you said man eaten by his tiger. These
Oh.
guys, remember them?
Yeah, Siegfried and Roy. That's not what I was talking about, though.
No, it's not, but that I just wanted to show you who
So
I
anyway,
pictured.
women in Berlin will soon be allowed to go topless at the city's public swimming pools like men, the Berlin state government said Thursday. The new bathing rules allowing everyone to go swimming without covering their torso filed a discrimination complaint by a woman who was not allowed to go topless in a swimming pool in the capital. The woman, whose identity was not revealed, had turned to the Senate's... I don't know how to say this word. Ombudspersons? It's like 3 words smushed
If
together.
you can't say it, I definitely can't.
It literally OMBUDSPERSON, like ombudsperson's office for equal treatment to demand.
It's ombudsman is the actual word, so I guess they were saying ombudsperson's like an advocate.
Oh, okay. Ombudsperson is what this says. So
I thought at first, I'm like, is that a name?
I'm like, it doesn't even look like it's a word.
Yeah, but not ombudsperson.
Yeah, no, yeah. So ombudsperson office for equal treatment to demand that women, like men, can swim topless. The Berlin Senate for Justice, Diversity, and Anti-Discrimination said in a written statement. The reaction to the complaint and the ombudsman's involvement. So then the next time they say ombudsman, okay. In the case, the Berliner, holy moly, Bader Betriebe, man, I need to pick articles that are not based in other countries, which runs the city's public pools, decided to change its clothing rules, the statement said. The ombudsperson's office very much welcomes the decision to the Bader Betriebe because it establishes equal rights for all Berliners, whether male, female, or non-binary, and because it also creates legal certainty for the staff of Bader Betriebe. Why is that word in here so much? And the head of I'm done with this article.
Why is the world terrified of women's nipples?
Dude, it's crazy.
Men's nipples, they could just be out, and they're not nice to look
They're
at.
not nice.
I've never seen a man's nipple where I'm like, that's okay, that's kosher with me. I also don't think about it.
Start licking your lips.
I mean, this is a personal opinion, but maybe some of the hairy ones can get covered up like that. I don't. But if a woman takes her nipples out, then it's like, oh shit, we got a problem here. I'm like, okay, but his nipples are out.
Yep.
Because you could put the whole breast out, but you just can't put the nipple out. It's different. That just makes it, somehow that makes it different. And that's just, I'm sorry we're getting a little graphic because this just confuses me.
Oh, that's
It's like
my favorite is that underboob has become a thing, but then cleavage has always been a thing. So you can literally underboob and cleavage and side boob as long as there's a pasty on a nipple. You could put that bitch on Instagram.
The same with butts. You can have a thong bathing suit as long as that little tiny piece of string is through your butt crack. It's solid, and the butt cheeks jerseys out.
But
Because
the
it's
inverse-
just skin. It's just skin and fat, you guys.
The inverse, if you only showed the nipples and you put coverage over all of the skin around it, then it would be banned. Like, how silly is that? Right?
You can see
you
the
know.
whole boob, but don't you dare let me see any of that nipple.
Whatever. Berlin's a lot more progressive than us. So if you're trying to swim with the nippies flying, head on over to Berlin.
Not actually flying. They're just
Flying.
out.
No,
They're just
yeah,
there.
like diving boards. Bam, bam, bam. That's what mine look like. I got
Help.
man boobies.
Somebody help. Send help.
Yeah. All right. So this one. This one's funny. Maine motorists appeal to keep naughty vanity license plates. So, in context for the picture, I'm sure we can like post it up there. The family is sitting on the ground in front of the rear of their vehicle, and you can see the license plates above their head. And it reads, I'll put the letters there. Is there an I there? Yeah. ILUVTOFU. So it's I love tofu, right? Or I love to F you. It's all context, right? So anyway,
Here we go.
a Maine vegan, so we know what he wants it to say, whose custom license plate contains the word tofu, is one of the motorists caught in a state crackdown on vulgar tags. Car owners across the United States can pay an extra fee to customize license plates,
I
sparking
get
creativity and
it.
personality, but causing headaches, blah, 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 blah. Maine had for several years allowed people to put just about any combination of letters and numbers on their vehicle plates,
all
including
about where
words
that
and phrases that other
space is.
states would ban. But the state decided to change course, and this year recalled 274 plates it deemed inappropriate. Some people are fighting back. So far, the state has rejected all of the appeals, including one brought by the vegan whose license plate referred to tofu. Oh yeah, there was no I apologize. It just says love tofu. The state concluded the license plate LUVTOFU, love tofu, could have been seen as a reference to sex instead of admiration for bean curd. The motorist insisted there was no mistaking his intent because the back of his car had several tofu-related stickers. It's my protest against eating meat and animal products. Peter
I can see that getting
Starostecki,
bigger.
the disappointed motorist, of course. I think it should honestly get bigger because it's stupid as shit
I'm a
for the
little
government
enraged for
to
him.
imply the context. You can't just imply context on someone's behalf.
Now I'm a little upset for him.
Heather Libby and her best friend grudgingly, blah, blah. I mean, honestly, I don't need to go through the rest. It's bullshit. The dude's license plate says love tofu, and they're saying it says love to F you. And he's like a dad and all this stuff. Like he's a vegan, and it's like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Ooh, I hope the government doesn't think about how he became a dad, because that also involves what they're saying he can't talk about.
We don't talk about that stuff.
Don't talk about where babies came from.
This one, I didn't get to read it yet, but I thought that the headline would be kind of interesting and related to us a little bit. How this little see-through fish gets its rainbow shimmer.
Ooh.
Cool, right? It's a little fish. And it's something that I thought about, honestly, in the past a bunch. More of Jason's billion-dollar ideas that y'all can have for free.
I love that you immediately evaluated at $1 billion. Go ahead. Keep
Because
going.
all my ideas are billions.
I'm gonna take you on Shark Tank.
No, it was just the need essentially for a bio-friendly like glitter, because the applications for our traditional plastic-based glitters, I do believe that there's a safe space in the world for that. You use it in like closed environments, indoor stuff, sealed stuff. I'm not like, don't go and take traditional plastic-based glitter out for a wedding shoot and go, oh my God, he just got married, and throw it in the sky. There's literally biodegradable options for things like that. That's
also,
why
you might get glitter in your
we have those
people's
things.
eyes.
Yeah. So with that, obviously, those even to an extent, just so, spoiler alert, all plant-based glitter has plastic in it still.
Ooh.
Fact. It's got it. I don't know what to tell you. I literally carry the most stringently tested biodegradable glitter in the world. Like, I have the documentation for it, and it still has plastic in it. You can't escape it. It's the binding agent. It's just like what keeps it together. But animals that are reflective, an insect, a fly's wings are, if you look at them under a microscope, they're very iridescent, right? A fish's scales, extremely reflective and iridescent. They're not made of plastic. So I am not saying that I want to start getting fish or flies or any animals and grinding them up to make stuff. But
I'm
I
really
do
glad
believe
that you
that
clarified that, because I really thought that's where you
no,
were going.
no. I think that things die naturally and things shed naturally. I
They
do believe that
do.
there's, like, I'm not a wing. They don't shed wings. So get that part out of the.
Oh no, you know, I pictured
Right
like
out.
snake skin.
That's another
When you said that,
perfect
immediately
example.
what I pictured.
Because there's multiple snakeskins out. That's why I'm saying that I feel like the
Snakeskin
world
glitter.
and the environment around us offers us answers to the questions that we have and the issues that we have. It's just seeing it as an answer. You know, like I said, the iridescent shimmer. And I feel like in the wrong hands, someone might go, okay, yeah, we can do some real biodegradable glitter. We're going to grab these fish and we're going to put them in a fucking blender. And then we're going to have like this great fish glitter and stuff will dry it out.
No.
No, that's why I said in the wrong hands.
No, I
There's
know. That's why
terrible people that like will look for a way to exploit a system that could have been pure and beautiful. So it's just something that I had as a fly-by-night notion was, is there really a renewable resource out there that's actually like bio related
That's interesting.
that can bring those shimmers? So let me read the article anyway about the scales, because maybe it's got the answers
If
that I
you
was
guys
looking
are an
for.
expert on the topic, you can email us.
Yeah. Let's talk about why
Dead bug
animals
grinding.
freaking shimmer like glitter. You can see right through this little aquarium fish from Thailand. Its skin is almost completely transparent, but when the light hits it just right, the body flickers with shimmering rainbow colors. Now scientists have figured out how this fish, called the ghost catfish, creates its iridescent glow. Oh, I'm going to have to talk to these scientists. The glow comes from within, according to a study published Monday in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. As light passes through the fish's skin, it hits tiny structures in the muscle that turn the light into a colorful spectrum. The ghost catfish, sometimes known as the glass catfish, is a small species native to rivers in Thailand, averaging just a few centimeters long. It's sold around the world as an aquarium fish. Other creatures are also iridescent, creating the shimmering rainbow effect where colors shift as you move. Usually they have shiny outer surfaces that reflect the light, like a hummingbird's feathers or a butterfly's wings, explained Arizona State University biologist Ron Rakowski, who was not involved with the research.
Call dibs on ghost fish for a glitter name. I'm not there yet. I haven't ordered the glitter, but I call dibs.
Says, but the ghost catfish has no scales. That's interesting. Said senior, whatever fish.
Yeah, it looks smooth.
Instead, it has tightly packed structures in the muscles that can bend light into rainbow hues, which researchers found after shining different lights and lasers onto its body in the lab. As the ghost catfish swims, those muscles relax and tighten, sending off a glinting range of colors. And the very see-through skin, which lets in around 90% of outside light, is essential. We wouldn't be able to see the colors if the skin of the fish is not so transparent.
How
So
cool.
species use their iridescence to attract mates or giving off warning signals, but it's not clear whether the ghost catfish's colors serve a purpose, Rakowski said. So that fish in
That fish looks
particular
really neat
that
if you
does
guys
not
look it
have
up.
scales, I don't think there's a renewable source there. I'd have to actually like figure out how to put their muscles on something.
No, but you did give me a good name for glitter. Now I gotta find white iridescent. Where are we ever gonna find one
Yeah,
of
right?
those?
More white glitter!
More white glitter! Maybe
Yeah,
we'll make it a
so-
medium. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like that's a super interesting thing that is possible. It's just I don't know, it's something I probably would never go towards because you'd have to literally experiment with these animals and stuff, and I'm not cool with that. So maybe I
No.
should have never brought up the topic.
Well, that's why you talk things out.
Exactly.
I thought they were all gonna fall out traumatically, but they didn't.
That's exactly you just thought the pig was going to SVB us. 86% of its innards was just going to fall out immediately.
This is one of Alex's favorite toys, you guys. She let us have it for the video. I don't know if she let us or Crystal forced distracted her. Here you go, kid. Dude.
You got anything else that you want to hit on today? Do we have anything? Oh, I know. Creativation. We were gonna go and we're not now.
And you still got a jacket out of it.
Yep. It was funny. I was showing it to Chris. I was like, man, these jackets are cool. You guys see my really awesome TGG jacket.
So if you guys wonder what Jason's going to be doing in the next coming days, he's going to be brainstorming ways for us to make that money back.
For the jackets. Yeah.
For the
so
and the show.
we got the jackets. Me, Sean, and Patty each got one because we were supposed to be going to Creativation at the end of the month. You guys aren't aware. I think that I'd mentioned it previously, but it's like one of the largest B2B type arts and crafts conventions in the country.
Or it was.
And it's in Columbus, Ohio this year, and we actually have paid for a double wide booth and everything, but it's just, I was almost going through like a mental breakdown yesterday because everything was on the plate and the plate was getting crazy. And I had to just make a decision. It was like, what on this plate has the least amount of return? You know, because the effort that we put in at work has to be worth something, or else it's just, you're just spinning wheels. So the amount of effort that I had to continue to do to make sure our booth was good, worth people seeing. We have like exciting meetings that we had scheduled out there where we're still trying to make them meetings happen and stuff. But like, I'm not all for looking stupid. You know what I mean? Especially in a professional sense. I'm okay for like silly shit, whatever, to look silly, but not stupid. So that was like really putting a mental strain on me. And it wasn't, everything else is getting more and more backburnered. Even this room was getting more and more backburnered. We were supposed to have this room finished last week, and it's obviously not even finished this one. But the moment that I like spoke up and was like, I don't think I can make this happen, and I don't think it's worth making it happen.
You said, I wish we didn't have to.
Yeah. And you were like, then just don't. And it was like, oh, because like the amount of content that we shoot or try to shoot, the amount of incentives that we do, the amount of sales that we do, the amount of graphic design that we do, the events that we do, it is up here. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot, and it's definitely balanceable, but sometimes things get kind of like double booked or even triple booked or whatever. In Creativation, the return that we were going to get out of it, and I think it was an important business decision to make, versus what I was going to have to continue to put in out of my time, my mental capacity, because I only have so much of that to give every day. And
I demand a
really
lot
only
of
have
it.
so much of it to give every day.
And
Outside of that, but financials, like it costs money to build a set, to build a booth,
And
and
you
I
guys
was
have to
only
drive there.
part of the way in it, and then we still have to drive out there, and we still have to pay for the rooms and like all the flights, and it's all just cost. You know, it's all in, and it's like, am I going to get my return back? Especially in a world now of so many more in-person events. Is the B2B event thing still as important currently when I'm in, you know, a very good deal of stores right now, or is my focus more important to move elsewhere? And that's just, it was a pivot moment. I think it made a lot of sense, and it was almost like being able to breathe again. And I feel like I got twice as much done in this room today than I did in the past week. And it was because I
You've been
knew I didn't have
distracted.
Creativation looming over my head anymore. It's just so much easier to focus when I'm not like, how much am I not getting done in the other room while I'm getting shit done in this room?
And I knew something was wrong for days now. Even the one day, I don't know, was it Tuesday? We were in the car, and I'm like talking to you, and you're just like, I'm like, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, robot, you don't look okay. But nothing happened that day. Nothing was wrong that I could find. And I'm like, something is wrong. So as soon as you said, I wish that we didn't have to do Creative Vision, everything clicked. And I'm like, that's what's been bothering you. We're not going then. And that just shows how well we read each other and how well we work together too, because that's not the answer all the time. The answer isn't always, well, we don't have to do it, because more often than not, the answer is, Jason, you have to be a big boy and you have to do it, or vice versa. Yep. But when it's something like that, where I can already foresee what's going to happen in the future, and based on your behavior all week, and it is right, the rooms, nothing was getting done. You were very distracted, and I couldn't figure out why.
That's what that stare was, me just dwelling on what I did that day, and it just wasn't enough. it wasn't enough in my book with how much is still on my plate. So I was just furious with the day, you know, like I got stuff done. Like you could go on paper and write down like, hey, did anything get done? Yup. Was it like at the standard of what I needed to get done versus what I still have to get done? Fuck no. Nope. Not even close. I was pissed. I was pissed at myself.
You were
just disappointed in myself, disappointed in the amount of time that was being put in this stuff versus like how it looked when I was done. It just, the standards were not there. And like I said, not sometimes, but most times, not just me, but we hold ourselves to unrealistic standards. And it's hard to navigate, especially when you're almost everything you do is eventually, or everything we do is eventually in the public's eyes in some sense. If I paint this wall, public's going to see it. So I look at this wall and I'm just like, does this wall look like shit? Is it good enough? It's probably fine. Like you guys will probably look at these walls and be like, yeah, they're totally fine. But there's spots on these walls that I'm just like, dude, I fucking hate this wall. But that's just, it's like the standard. It's like, I'm figuring out where it's okay. Like where the standard is okay still. You still want to excel and be at the top of your game, but like perfection's impossible.
We're probably running long, but you bring up a really good topic about just monitoring your own mental health because you had decided to bring that up.
No, I want to run on.
No. I'm talking about yesterday. Not
I
even
wanna talk about
10
the mental
minutes before I left work for the day. And Chris, who does all of our filming, he came in late, so I couldn't film with him in the morning, anything for like our YouTube or anything. So that was all on you that day. So now you're already freaked out in the morning. You just bring this up to me and I'm like, I had like 8 minutes to talk to you about it. And then I'm like still out the door and you're still coming off that anxiety high. And I know that for a fact because I got the novels of text. I hope you don't mind, I bring it up,
Sure.
but you were still full of it and it had started coming out and in a positive way, you're getting positive feedback from it. So I could tell you just needed all that shit to come out. And then I'm like, all right, well, step one, tell Chris that you guys can do something else. But at that point, I'm like, Jason's too far gone. And I'm like in the car at I just pulled up to the hair salon for my appointment at noon. So I'm like, I sent Chris a message. I'm like, Patty, and I sent Patty a message. I'm like, Patty, can you please go make sure that Chris got my message? And I just gave him a little rundown. I'm like, Jason's just feeling overwhelmed today. Mm-hmm. And that happens. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, there is something wrong with it, but not in a negative way. That's just, you need to
You gotta step back.
Very connected with your own feelings and know how much you can take on in any given day or week. And a lot of people, not just us, compile so many things onto themselves that they don't even see a break and then they just break.
It said we saw it with Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel's a huge part of our lives. If anyone's got kids and you don't know who Miss Rachel is, you're messing up because my child knows fact. I'm not even exaggerating. She knows more sign language than I do. I had to Google a couple signs the other day because she just rapid fires this stuff at me. She picks up on it so fast. Anyway, Ms. Rachel, it was like a big headline thing that it was like, she's leaving TikTok, and then everyone ran with that headline, and they were like, she's leaving the internet, which was nuts. But
she was having an overwhelming time.
Exactly.
TikTok.
I took a lot of that situation and I compared it very much to what I just did with the CREATIVATION thing. She stepped back and looked at how much is on her plate and was like, what is giving me the least amount of return? What can I curb from my plate that I get the least back from? But I have to keep feeding into it. And TikTok is one of those things. If you guys are on TikTok to make money, that's the wrong place to be. It's great for exposure. It's great for awareness. It's great for views. It's great for that. But the monetization is just not there. It's on YouTube. And Miss Rachel makes millions of dollars on YouTube. She does not, I guarantee you, she does not make millions of dollars on TikTok. She doesn't. So if you had a choice of continue content on the $1 million platform or the brand awareness platform, everyone knows who Miss Rachel is right now. She don't need the brand awareness. Then I would walk away from TikTok. You know what I mean? If it was that choice. So that's what happened with CREATIVATION. I was like, which one is not going to give me as much of a return of what I need to focus on right now? And that was CREATIVATION.
And sometimes you can't base it on what you're going to get from a return too. Sometimes you do have to make those very hard decisions. And I hope that it doesn't happen. I hope it happens to people far less than more, that they have to make a decision between something, mental health and something that will give them a big return, because sometimes that is a choice that people have to make. And just because
Sure.
you have, you think you have to go through with it. Sometimes you just have to really reevaluate or outsource. Look, can someone else help me with this? Can I bring someone? How much would it be? There's so many different things that go into that, but sometimes you really have to just step back, look at the big picture and see, all right, guys, this is a little too much for me to handle. How do we make this easier to handle?
And you just look, sometimes you just have to, like, you are, you're going to enjoy just like what you enjoy. We're just like wired that way. And in the discussion of what we were talking about yesterday with like the mental health stuff and just really the way that things lay out here and the warehouse, like I told you that I actually like truly enjoy running the assembly line. And that's not something that you would maybe necessarily expect from an owner, president, CEO level of a company, that they want to be running the mundane daily stuff. But like,
No,
I
'cause
find
that's an
joy in
all-day
that. Like, I
event
truly
where you
find
don't
joy in
come out
that.
of
And then
there.
part of the conversation of my mental stress on myself, and you were recognizing it, was I was being harder on myself because I wasn't doing my share of, or what I viewed as my share of, the tasks that you like to do. So you like to cut vinyl, you like to mix glitter. I don't like doing those things, so I haven't been doing those things. So I just feel every time I see you doing it, I'm like, there's just more stuff Sarah's doing that I'm not. And I'm just being very hard on myself. But also, you don't like running the assembly line.
No.
Because you have to be stagnant there. Like, you have to be tied to that machine, and you don't like being tied to shit other than me.
No, I don't. I can't stand still I can't sit still to save my life.
so it's not, that's literally a job that is anti your personality, but it's very my personality. So like, it's taking time, and we're going to continue growing and learning from it. And we're pretty transparent with a lot of stuff. So we'll probably talk about it on here other times, how these things unfold. But it's just interesting. Like, you don't like packing orders, right? You said that. You hate packing orders. I'm okay with it, but
why I
I'd
don't
prefer
do it.
not to. I'd prefer not to. Like, if I have to, I'll do it. But those are one of the things. Like, that's why then you bring on employees and you feel why you need them and stuff. It's like, listen, can we justify an employee to do this? And do you need one? Like, physically, is the demand? Do we have so many orders that we can't keep up with it?
If I had to
Everything
pack all
else
the
will get
orders, we
forgotten.
would have shut down a long time ago.
Yeah, we do need order packers because of the volume that we do. Like, that's, but the beauty of it is that if you or I loved order packing, then we didn't need to hire order packers. We could have continued packing orders, and we could have hired someone else to do the things that we didn't want to do that we do like to do. Like,
and that
that's
was something you implemented.
right. And it's still finding that rhythm. Like, we've been doing this for years now. Like, I feel like at this point we can be considered a veteran glitter selling company. I know that I'm nowhere near on the scale of like Meadowbrook or whatever that invented this stuff, but like, I've been doing this a little while and I understand a good amount about it. So
that brings up good topics about not only mental health, but how couples work together, because that's another big thing in this community, is that a lot of the companies that are associated with our resin glitter community are husband and wife. And I'm telling you right now, just based on what happens in between closed doors with us, it's not pretty. And I know that everyone should be agreeing with me that works with their husband and wife, that you guys not only are butting heads on an emotional level because you guys are married, but then you're butting heads on a business level, and no one wants to back down. And not many people, I don't think, have the kind of conversations that we have, because I dragged that emotional stuff out of you, and I had to have that talk with you yesterday, that if you're upset because you think that that I'm upset with you, that I do more than you in a day, I'm telling you right now, I don't notice, because I'm being so honest with you when I tell you that if I'm doing something, it's because I want to do it.
Sure, yeah.
And that's also a problem.
And you made that clear
for
to me, and
too.
it's something that has been hard for me to get past. And you were very adamant and very clear about it, especially in the last couple of days. So I was like I said, it was like a breath of fresh air for me to just come in today. And I was like, answered all my emails, got my computer stuff done, and I didn't spin my wheels for like the first day in a while. I got up and I was like, I know what the fuck I'm doing today. And it was lovely.
I think a lot of people are afraid to tell somebody else why they are upset, and for many reasons they're probably upset. But one thing that I've always gotten through to Jason, when me and Jason are in a fight, one thing that I always say to him is that there is nothing that we can't get through together. If I just threw you attitude, or if I said something wrong, or if I moved your thing that I promised you I wasn't going to move, or whatever it was that I did was not intentional to hurt you. So you need to tell me that I did that thing so I can fix it. Because I'm telling you right now, I didn't notice that I did it. But if I did notice that I did it, bet you there's a reason, and now I'm not telling you why I'm mad at you. And then people are just fighting to fight when they're afraid to tell each other, like, well, the other day when you said that thing that you said to me, it hurt my feelings. And then the other person can be like, I'm so sorry. That's not how I meant it. Because that's...
Yeah, we're like slowly weaning our way off of that mentality, because a lot of it is born from our parents. I know, especially me, it's absolutely...
You and your sister are very much similar, the same.
It's a from my mom thing, dude. It was
you and your sister are the same.
Bottle that shit down because it's nobody else's problem but your own. Deal with it yourself. Figure it out yourself. That's how we were kind of brought up. You know what I mean?
Same for the Wildermutes too.
And honestly, it was their product of their generation. They don't... I'm sure that my mom had a million instances that she wished that somebody would have just understood where she was coming from. You know what I mean? But like, that's not, it was, take care of the kids and, it was very, very traditional American
Get my dinner
home.
on the table and go about it.
Yep.
Get the kids what they need, and I'll see you later. I'll see you at
I even like, I feel like if I could go, if I had either of my parents, I wish I could talk about the whole like parenting thing and splitting the chores, the responsibilities of parenting in general, because it's like exponential. And I know you see all the memes and it's like the mom does like a lot. Our dynamic is insane compared to like most traditional families.
Absolutely.
Whereas I feel like in the traditional like American family, it's like mom does 75% and then dad is the breadwinner and then fills in the gaps of like the other chores. Whereas I feel like ours is maybe Sarah's like 65 to 70-ish%. Still, she's still definitely above me in what she takes care of. But I definitely do more than the traditional. I
believe. You do a lot of the stuff.
But it's because we're attached. Like, it's different. Our dynamic is so different. Alex is with us every day, and we go to work together. We drive the same car to work every day. Everything is together. So we can definitely do, I think, another episode on the dynamic of
I think that'd be fun.
Running a business and making decisions. Like, not only did you say business decisions and stuff, but in our world, creative decisions.
Yes.
Like, we have to talk about, you were giving me ideas to shoot for a video yesterday, and I was honestly just like annoyed with it because they were like ideas for you, really. They were just not shit that I felt like making in the moment. So,
plus, you were also annoyed in general.
Right, I was annoyed that I got thrown at the craft last minute, and then just not only that,
I didn't hear about the CreaTiVision thing yet.
But having a craft thrown at me that I also didn't choose, which Sarah, don't get me wrong, was not leaving me to not choose. She was trying to help me, but I was taking it as like orders. It's like, well, guess what? I have to leave. Now you have to shoot my video for me. And also you're going to do it on this. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And that's not what you meant at all. And you weren't even coming at me like that, but like, it's that defensive. My brain was just like, let's fight. You know what I mean?
But you're also not like that every single time. And that just shows what your state of mind was like at that time. And that's another thing that I think people really need to take into consideration, is that one person can act a certain way and it might be out of character for them, but you really need to take into consideration the whole picture of their mental state at that moment. And at that moment, you were very anxious, you were very frustrated, and I hadn't said that you didn't have to go to CreaTiVision yet. You hadn't even said it yet, I don't think. You were still very much on the, don't put anything else on this plate, please.
There was a meme yesterday.
We're upset.
There was a meme yesterday being shared that I thought was like perfect with all of it. And it's definitely something that I believe in, but it was roughly like, everyone is going through something that you're not aware of at any given moment. You know what I mean? And that's so true.
Aware.
Like I thought a lot about that, like when everything was hitting us at the same time, when we lost my mom and the dog and all that, like the
worst 30 days that the Livelies ever went through.
But you know, it put me in a lot of like introspective thought and shit.
Makes me
And
upset thinking
because
about
I was thinking about so much shit that I was going through, I was like, how many other people are going through this amount of shit right now? And I'm sure it's a lot. And you have no idea. They're the person driving next to you. They're the person behind you at line at Dunkin' Donuts. They're the person that might have a little extra attitude today when you were checking out at Target and you were like, she didn't need to be a bitch, but maybe she did need to be a bitch because her world's fucking upside down today. But you just don't know. So it's like
That's why I'm kind to everybody.
The context that we're holding everyone to this like universal standard. Everyone behave like this. Everyone act like this. Everyone, you're all of this. It's like, fuck you, dude.
Don't accept
No.
this. Only accept that. Don't talk about your feelings. Don't tell someone
Yeah.
when you're upset with them. Don't call people, you know, don't.
Yep.
What? Let's all talk about our feelings, guys.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to bring this up on another topic because I think how we work together behind the scenes could definitely either entertain or help, or a mixture of both for people.
Yeah, I think it's a good topic to dive into. I think we talked a lot about positive mental health and mental attitude and stuff this episode, but I do think an episode dedicated to like positive mental health direct, like
Maybe
specifically, and businesses as a couple is a great fucking episode to have. So
I got to use the little girl's room.
all right, we've been running, I think, plenty of time this time, and I'm absolutely
I
satisfied.
think you guys really like this
The
episode. I know it's probably long.
Yeah,
Chris, what are we at?
110.
Yeah,
No, it's not long
it's
at all.
normal. Yeah, it's cool. It would have been short as shit actually if I didn't start riffing, so I like it.
Good.
No, perfect.
And we powered up another episode of Craft Tea that we'll bring into you soon.
Yep.
The drama
the
that is
rooms-
Sara and Jason, and it's good. I'm telling you right now, it's great.
Room's gonna keep evolving, guys. Next time you guys come, honestly, it should be in a much more finished state. So I'm excited about it. Once again, I'm gonna sign off with you guys. Please listen to us on all the major streaming platforms: Apple Tunes, Spotify. Follow, like, listen. I think there's like comment availabilities on some of the stuff, even the YouTube, whatever.
Ooh.
Just like anything that you guys can do to help drive traction and help drive focus in our direction.
I usually
It
answer the
helps
YouTube
us.
questions. You can do the Spotify's.
Yeah, it just helps us, you know, really stay afloat and be able to continue to do the fun things that we like to do to bring to you guys. So yeah, with that, let's get back to work.
But we're making tea, and when making tea, always bring the pot to the kettle and never bring the kettle to the pot.
Now, pour the tea.